Hi guys, welcome back to this week's vlog. It's called Phone Didn't Ring. So we're not doing a vlog. Hi guys, welcome back to this week's video. So today's video is going to be about how I recently made this commission. It's a flying fox commission. So a little bit different than the rest of the dolls that I make. So there's a bit of experimenting. A lot of the process is available over on my Patreon, but in this video I'll just do like a general, I guess, making overview sort of thing in this video. So I'll give you a little look at it. The wings were something a little different. I did a bit of an experiment on how to make them, so something that I've been wanting to do for a while, but they work really well. So this little one has a ball and socket armature and the wings are made of wire. The wing, I wouldn't say it's a comprehensive tutorial, but the process of making the wings is over on my Patreon. I do plan to do a proper comprehensive tutorial on the wings, but I'd rather do it in like a proper, I didn't think the footage that I had, because I was kind of experimenting. I didn't think the footage that I had was really worthy of a proper tutorial, so in the future I will put that tutorial over in my shop anyway. And I mean, it works for dragon wings and stuff as well. So it is posable. You can pose the wings, so you can wrap it up just like the bats wrap themselves up. So really happy with that. Obviously it's a little bit more posing that has to go along with it, but it holds poses really well. Even just, you know, making it smaller here. Yeah, it holds poses really well. Even the little things here are posable. So yeah, lots of little things that are posable. I have a couple of whip pictures over on my Patreon on how I mold and cast these feet as well. So overall pretty happy with the way it turned out. I do have another one in the making. It's going to be black instead of grey though. So this one will be available in my shop in the coming weeks, or in the future whenever I get it done. But anyway, if you want to see how I made this little one, then just keep watching. Alrighty, so this is a brand new sculpt that I have recently done specifically for this commission, but I wanted to mold and cast it because I wanted to do flying foxes in the future. So whether it be real coloured themed real animals or fantasy ones, I wanted to keep the sculpt. So if you want to see how I sculpted everything, it's over on my YouTube for free. You can see how I sculpted the head and also a video on how I sculpted the feet. And all of the molding and casting information is over on my Patreon. So if you want to check that out, there's a couple of posts of whip pictures about how I molded and cast specifically the feet. Just check it out over on my Patreon. It's for my $5 and up tiers, and the whip pictures are for any tier. So check it out if you're interested in that. So basically what I'm doing, when I sculpted this, I allowed for the option to cast with glass eyes, but I don't have any brown eyes, so I decided to paint them this time, and they turned out really well. Flying foxes tend to have pretty dark brown eyes, so basically I just painted in the brown. I'm using the brand Chromacryl. It's an acrylic water-based paint. And it's not an expensive paint either, so you can find anything comparable in your local craft store or online. Chromacryl is just an Australian brand, so it's pretty readily available here. And before I paint things, I like to prime it, whether it be polymer clay or resin. I like to prime my pieces before I paint it, and that means the paint can adhere to the resin a little bit easier, and there's a less chance of it scraping off. You can also apply a varnish as well, whether it be matte or gloss, just to get that little bit more strength. So I'll be doing that when I do the horns, the bongo horns for my Calgary Zoo commissions. Moving on to the feet. So these are the feet that I'm talking about. They're quite an intricate little sculpt, so something that I haven't molded and cast something this intricate before, so it was a little bit more of a learning curve, but I did it in a what do you call it, just a one, not a 2-part mold, just a 1-part mold, and I ended up cutting it so it looks like a 2-part mold. So all of the resin flashing that you can see is where the seams are, so there's a little bit of cleanup that needs to be done with these feet. I had a little bit of problems with the resin as well. I've had this problem before. I'm not sure what the deal is. It could be that it's a little bit too cold for it to cure properly, but I had a little bit of problem with the resin not curing. I had a problem with a wolf paw as well, and I've never had this problem before with that one specifically, but yeah, I had to basically scrap the feet here and do some more casting, which turned out fine. It could have been something in the silicone. I've never had a problem with this resin and this silicone. I use if you want a full video, there's one over on my channel of what silicones and resins I use, but I use from Barnes. I use Pinky Seal for the silicone, and I use Easy Cast for the resin, and it's pretty much a foolproof method and products. But yeah, just this time it just wasn't really curing properly, and I had that same problem on my Hanya mask as well. But yeah, not sure what it is. So moving on to the painting, and I'm using a different sort of black this time. It's from the brand Derivian Matisse, and it's still a water-based acrylic paint, but it's just got a little bit more of a brown tinge to it, which is what I wanted. I didn't want like a pure black colouring. That's pure black colour paint that I have is from the Chromacryl brand, but this one's just a little bit different. And it has that little bit more of a brown tinge to it, so it must have a red base black or something like that. The other one, I think it must be a blue tone black, but it's perfect for this type of colour that I wanted. The paint is a little bit thick, but that's no problem. Seeing as it's water-based, you can water it down a little bit. You just have to be careful that it doesn't leave streaking through your paintwork and the coverage as well. So when you water down paint, you might not get a good coverage, but I mean, you work it out. So yeah, this is a little bit more of an intricate painting. I decided to, originally I was going to do a wire armature, so I have a little, I ended up drilling the hole for the wire armature, but then I wanted to use ball and socket armature, so I changed my mind and ended up attaching that ball and socket armature. I have the whole video over on my Patreon if you want to know how I made that armature too, so it's for my $5 and up tiers again. But it's over on my Patreon right now. And this little thing is ended up for the little claws on the top of the wings. So I also add them into a molding process I always have leftover silicone, so I thought it was a good idea to just make these little molds of these little pieces as well, so I don't have to sculpt them every time. And I mean, I had extra silicone anyway, so when you're molding something, I always like to have something that I can pour the extra silicone into if I've over measured, so that way I'm not I guess wasting the silicone. So I made a couple of these little claws so I can pour them. Same painting process as well. So a little visit from the Meow Meow, and moving on to the Faux Fur. So I always got a helper when it comes to Faux Fur. So for Australian flying foxes have these nice little rusty coloured necks. So I had the perfect Faux Fur in stock. I've been holding this for a long time. I made my maned wolf out of this Faux Fur as well, so I've got a little bit left. It's perfect for the manes of the flying fox. So I'm just drawing out a little pattern that I've made. Myself. I have a body pattern video if you're interested in how I do it. I think there's a tutorial in my shop too. I can't remember what's in there, but yeah, it's over on creaturesinthedark.com if you want to check that out. So I'm just dividing where I want the neck to end and adding a little bit of a seam allowance at the end so I can attach it to the other side of the body. If you don't add a seam allowance, you end up sewing things that are too small. So I always like to go oversized rather than too small because you can always trim it. So a little look at the Faux Fur. It's got a nice rust coloured underneath and black tips. Perfect. I love this Faux Fur. It's really great to use. So really not a lot of cutting here, so I left it in normal speed just so you can see how I insert those blades into the pile of the fur and just cutting the backing. So once you've got the blade in between the first time, you can pretty much just run your scissors through and it will just cut the backing. And the same deal over this side, just a little bit careful when I'm inserting it, and then I can run it through and it will just cut the backing and not the pile. So once that's cut, I can move on to the next colour of the faux fur, so that'll be the rest of the body. And the commissioner chose this nice little grey with black flecks in it. It's got, if you move it to one way, it's actually got striping, but when you move it the other way, it shows as like flecks, I guess. And it's a really nice faux fur. I had different colours of it, but I'm kind of running out of it, and so I'll have to find some more at some point. But you can see how nice it is. It's got nice texture and nice colour. It's really, really soft too. It's got like a little bit of a greenish undertone, I guess, but mostly grey. And then, yeah, just cutting out the patterns, I was, again, left the seam allowance, and I left a little bit more allowance on the legs as well, just because I wasn't sure how thin it was going to turn out, and I had needed to sew the wings onto it as well, so a little bit more of an allowance. Probably for the next one, I'm going to leave those arm areas a bit longer, just so I can attach it to the wings a bit easier. But for the wing process, I have the video over on my Patreon as well, so little sneak peeks is I'll show you how I made with the armature. I might upload the pattern of the wings onto my Patreon as well, so you can print it out and make your wings whatever size you want. I also go into how I cut the actual wings and what material I used, and also how I fused them together. So that will be all over on my Patreon for my $5 and up tiers. Also show you how I added the colouring to the wings as well. So a little bit of a different method. I'm still experimenting. That's why it's not a full tutorial yet, because I haven't found something that I'm completely happy with. Although these turned out really, really well, I would like to do a little bit more experimenting with some different materials and paints and stuff. But yeah, all over on my Patreon if you want to have a look how I made them. Moving on to sewing at the body. So the body was a little bit different this time. I only sewed small sections of it. So I sewed one side of the neck area and also the inside of the leg area, and that sort of got a little bit confusing where the body's supposed to be, just because it's a pretty small little space in between the legs there. But once I flipped it the right way around, I could work out what I was doing. But just keep in mind, if you're going to sew it up, then you will have to insert the wings through, so you can see what it's going to look like when everything is sewn up and I've got the body all right and ready to go. So on the left side, I've sewn the neck area, so I'll need to insert the wings through the body. So luckily the wings are opposable, so I could move them in and out, and the space was quite large anyway, so there wasn't really a tough time getting the wings through. But just keep in mind, if you're going to sew things like this with your doll, I also had to feed the legs through as well. But you can see it fitted nicely, and then I had a pretty good solid base to start sewing everything. The reason why I sewed it up is because I didn't want all of the pieces to flop around, basically, and I wanted to know where I was sewing. And then it's just lots and lots of sewing, more sewing. It took a good couple of hours to sew these. So basically with the sewing, what I did was I started off with the neck area. I haven't attached anything or glued anything to anywhere, just in case I sewed too much or I just wanted that leniency rather than having that base that I usually do. So basically I sewed the top part of the body onto the wing, and I used a ladder stitch to sew this entire doll. So it was very, very time consuming to do. I used a good quality thread as well, something with a little bit of tension, so I could pull on it a bit more, because the wings are more of a harder material than faux fur, and you also have to be careful not to tear the wings as well when you're sewing it. So with this ladder stitch as well, the stitching has to be quite small, so there's not as much leniency when you're sewing faux fur to faux fur. You can sort of have the stitches a little bit further apart, but when you're using a flat piece of material, you need them to be closer together so there's no gaps in between. So you can see where the stitching has ended there. Because I've made the wings a little bit longer as well, I have the ability to trim them into the right shape. So that's something to keep in mind when you're making wings as well. Just make them a little bit longer, and you can trim where you need to trim. So that I'm just trimming around where I've stitched it all together, being careful not to cut the stitches, and then I can completely sew the legs up and make it a nice seamless appearance. So something to keep in mind, but I do really recommend getting a good quality thread, a strong thread for this one. So once I've sewn that all up, I've done all the process of sewing on the other side as well, so it's all nice and secure. I can start gluing everything up. So I'm using my tacky fabric glue that I normally use, and then just adding a little bit into the faux fur and placing it on top of your claws. Just be careful which way your claws are going as well. So I had to work out which way Bat's claws went, because sometimes they're backwards. Well, they are backwards, so you have to keep in mind where the claw is going to be. So once that's all sewn up, I can start attaching the neck area to the head. I was happy with the way the body was looking. I also, before you start attaching things though, I added some polyfill into the body just to bulk it out. Obviously you need some sort of filling, so I normally use polyfill, and I didn't really use all that much of it, but I just sort of fed it into the places that I needed it to be. And then I decided to paint the head a black because I thought it would be a little bit better. There wouldn't be so much white transfer to come through, and I also needed the ears to be black, so I just decided to paint the whole thing black because I guess the skin tone base would be black, I guess, rather than white. So yeah, I just did it with that same paint that I used on the claws, just so it's the right color. Once the faux fur has been applied, I can start cleaning everything up. So the doll's not far from finished. So I'm just taking off all the little extra hairs that I don't want to be in places with my tweezers. And then I can go in and start refining all of the areas with either markings or shading or colour, whatever you want to add. You can add whatever you want. You can add rhinestones, glitter, anything. But I just like to refine the eye area and sort of bring out some character from the face, because sometimes when you add faux fur, can sometimes mute the personality of your doll, but when you add some shading, it really brings it out. And again, I'm using that plain black color paint from Chromacryl. You can also use markers. I used to use Staedtler markers. They were fabric markers, but I can't find them in Australia anymore for some reason. They just discontinued it here. You can also use fabric paint. I use that quite often. I use one from Jacquard. It's really good quality paint. They also make those metallic colors as well. So that's pretty much it from me today, guys. This little one, again, like I said at the beginning, it's a commission, so it's already found a home, but I do have that one that I'm currently working on. It would be a solid black color with that rust colored neck area, so I do plan to have that done pretty soon. And yes, thanks to my Patreons for supporting me. Thanks to the patron that commissioned this for me. I really appreciate it. We're getting a bit of a community over there, so yeah, check it out if you're interested in all of my exclusive content and printables. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Creatures of Nat, and also my shop at creaturesofnat.com, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!